What is up, Cradicks? Welcome back to the series where I customize and review past DLC and OG vehicles I never got the chance to because I didn't start making car customization videos till about late 2015. Again, guys, let me know down below in the comments what car from late 2015 and older you guys want me to customize next, and I'll display the most liked vehicle suggestion comment in the next customization video. So in today's video, we're going to be customizing the Vapid Dominator, one of my favorite OG vehicles from 2013. So this car again is an OG vehicle that's been in the game since day one. So this is a car you can get off the street for free, or you can buy it from a San Andreas website for $35,000, or you can get the trade price, which is part of Arena War, which I'm not sure why you'd want that deal when you can just get it off the street for free in the first place. But anyways, there are many different variants of a Dominator. We have the regular one, as you can see here. And then we have the Pizwazzer Dominator, which is one of the fastest muscle cars in the class with its literally supercar level top speed. And we have the Arena War variants, which are not raceable in traditional races. And then we have the Dominator GTX, that's slower in a straight line than the regular Dominator, but has the best handling in the class. So again, the Dominator is in the muscle car class and used to be the king of that class for a long time, living up to its Dominator name, until the Sabre Turbo Custom released in 2016, and even then they were still very competitive depending on the track. Then came along cars like the Yosemite and the Click, and that's where the Dominator started going down in position and not so dominant anymore. But even then, this car is still in almost top 5 around most tracks, which is extremely surprising for an OG car, and that just goes to show how fast this car truly is. Now, there's always a drawback to something being pretty much free and not well of a performing vehicle, and for this car, that is driving difficulty. So this car takes a lot of practice to get used to its handling. It's a very difficult car to control, and honestly one of my favorite driving experiences in the game because of that. It actually takes skill to control, and it's really rewarding once you get the hang of it. Now, when I first drove this car in GTA back in 2013, I thought it was the biggest pile of poo in terms of handling, but once I started getting the hang of it and understanding it, it became one of my favorites. But anyways, the Vapid Dominator is obviously based on the 5th generation or S197 Ford Mustang GT. It has that kind of boxy retro design of the one that was produced from 05 to 09. And something I find kind of interesting is that the GTA version in particular does have a very similar stripe pattern to the Super Snake variants, which I actually think it looks pretty cool. I kind of like how Rockstar went that route instead of a traditional, double stripe pattern. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out the customization of this OG dominating muscle car king.
What can we do to it?
Alright, Dominator. Alright, we got armor, we have bodywork. For the first option here, we have a window vent, which on the real car, a very common upgrade. Even though they're fake, they don't really do much to actually hurt you because of wind resistance, but it looks cool. So another Mustang option there. Race brakes, bumpers. Alright, custom front splitter. So a custom front splitter, basically a bigger version of a stock with a carbon splitter attached to it. Very, very nice looking. We're going to do that. Rear bumper, you have a painted custom bumper. Now there's no carbon version of this, which really surprises me. I feel like they did the effort to make a custom bumper. Why not make a carbon version, but for some contrast? But I guess we'll do the painted. Okay, engine, exhaust. Alright, so you have the stock exhaust here, very nice looking. Then you have titanium, which just sticks out too far for my taste. And if you look very closely, you really can't unsee this once you notice. They kind of look like the stock ones, but with the titanium ones just shoved in there. You can kind of see the chrome behind the titanium tip. It just looks really bad. It almost looks like somebody got some part on eBay and just shoved the titanium tip in there, put a bolt and called it a day. I don't know. It just looks very strange. I'll keep the stock. Maybe if it was further in. I just don't like how far it sticks out either. It just looks pretty bad with the fitment. Okay, we got grill options. So you have the custom grill. So you have this one right here. So you have the stock, which has a line on it. And then you have the next one, which has like the fog light. Very nice looking. We'll do that. Hood options, you have carbon. And you have the stock. I don't know why they didn't do a custom hood for this one. It's like so much they could have done here, but they just put that. I mean, again, it's a 2013 OG vehicle. We really can't complain too much, but if they put the effort to put a hood option, they should have done something different, but I guess it is what it is. Lights. You have headlights. So I mean, this car is kind of like from the 05 era, and then they made it all the way to like 09. So I mean, I think the Xenons are still pretty fitting. Like around 08, 09 is when they really started doing some like newer HID style headlights. So I think kind of fitting for the car, kind of Xenons on there. License plate, we're going to do the black background, do the GT font. Now in terms of colors, I really thought about this one. I mean, you really can't go too wrong with any color you do on this. Red and white looks good, blue and white, or black and red. You know, there's many different combinations you can do to look really good on this car. But ultimately, I decided to do the blue and white, but not just any blue. I'm going to do something a little different. We're going to do a dark blue with an ultra blue pearlescent to really bring out the blue. Kind of see how it looks through the light. And when you see it in the sun, it looks really good. And then we're going to do the secondary white. Looks, just love that contrast. It just works so well on this car. It's just very fitting. And then chromium, if you want to put it, it goes on the hood. Roof options, so you have the rear louvers, the window louvers. Very popular option people put on muscle cars. Personally, I'm not a fan. I think it looks kind of strange and kind of cheap looking, but everyone has their preferences. You know, on older muscle cars it made a lot of sense, but I feel like on a modern muscle car it just looks strange. Then you have carbon roof, which it would be nice maybe if the car didn't have any stripes, but with the stripes it just looks strange. But you know, maybe if you're going for a solid color where you do primary and secondary of the same color, the carbon roof would be a nice contrast. And then you have carbon roof and louvers. Okay, nothing there. Side skirts, so you have the pretty much a side skirt extension. Actually, it is a different side skirt. Look at that, it's a thicker side skirt with the carbon edge to match our front splitter. Nice. Rear spoiler, so probably my favorite upgrade on this entire car, the Ducktail Spoiler. Oh man, I'm so glad Rockstar did that. They could have easily just done this spoiler and call it a day, as with most of their cars, but they actually put in the effort and made a nice looking Ducktail spoiler that's kind of similar to the GT500 and different variations of the Mustang. It just looks really, really good. So we're gonna do that. Suspension, so you know, older 2013 OG cars, the suspension upgrades really didn't do much. You can see it going down there. I mean, it goes down barely anything. The difference between the first option and the last suspension option is pretty much like 2020 cars in terms of like one suspension option, and this is literally max, and that's barely anything, but at least it's something, because this car looks pretty bad with its stock ride height. This one does look a little better. I wish I could have gone maybe a couple clicks down more, but that's not too bad. Transmission, turbo, wheels. So before I get to the wheel options, I want to show you guys something here on this car that honestly it's really annoying. So if we look at the front wheel fitment here with top-down view, you can see the tire kind of poking out a bit. I mean, it's a little further out than it needs to be, but I mean, that's pretty acceptable, and you kind of would see on a stock car. I mean, not too bad. And then we get to the back. What is that? Like, look at how far in it is. It just, you can't, it's just so bad. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Again, if you compare that to the front wheel, it just doesn't look right. I feel like it should be the other way around if they were gonna do something like that. And once you see it, you really can't unsee it. It's really unfortunate, but that's one of the issues with this car. But yeah, so we're gonna throw some wheels on here. So I want to do a wheel kind of similar to like the Super Snake wheel that came on this 5th gen Mustang. And the wheel was kind of similar to the Mercy wheel, very, very similar in design. But I feel like the Mercies are a little too simple, so I want to do something a little different. So we're going to throw on the concave Mercies. I know some people were commenting, you put those wheels on everything, man. I don't put them on a lot of cars, but on this one, you know, they look, you can't deny they look a lot like the Super Snake wheels. And I think for this build, I have an excuse to put them on, and they do look really, really good. The stock Mercies are a little too flat for my taste. The concave version just looks so good. And instead of going the usual black wheel, we're going to do the black steel which is kind of reminiscent of some of like the GT500 Mustangs from the 6th generation Mustang, where they had kind of like the gray SVT wheels. And I feel like that's kind of like a combination between a Super Snake wheel and also a little bit of that with the gray. I think it looks really good. Windows, do some dark smoke, I guess. Dark smoke tints on there. Looking good. This came out really good. I like this. Very, very nice. Alright, let's take it out for a drive. Exit to ground. Alright, let's give it a couple revs. Sounds pretty good. I mean, Rockstar did a good job with the exhaust on this car. Alright, let's floor it here. Bit of wheel spin. So as I stated earlier, this thing is in the muscle car class. And, you know, this car was the king of most muscle car races for many, many years. It wasn't until, I think, the Yosemite and all that came out in the Click, all those vehicles really put a dent into the performance in the muscle cars class. But even then, till this day, this thing is still top 10 around most tracks. And even in top speed, I think it's still like top 6 or 7. So it's not a slow car by any means. I mean, it's still a fast car, and you can mess around with it too. You can drift a couple corners, and then this thing, you know, it's a handful to drive. It is not easy, but once you get the hang of it, and you respect it, and you don't force it too much in the corners, it is an amazing driving experience, and one of my favorites in the game, believe it or not. I just love the way this thing drives because of sort of like how raw and realistic of a driving experience it is, and it's definitely a very difficult one. I mean, it took me a while back in the day to understand how to drive this thing around the tracks. I hated it when I first started driving. This thing is horrible. It drives so bad. It doesn't turn. It spins out everywhere. But once you get the hang of it, it is so rewarding. It's just an awesome driving experience. And the Vapid Dominator, which is the even faster version of this one, that guy doesn't know how to drive. The faster version of this one, that thing is amazing. I mean, it is super, super fast. It literally has supercar levels of top speed. And that thing is absolutely incredible. This one, though, free off the street, you know, it's still very quick. It's something I highly recommend you get in your garage. You know, free off the street, you really can't complain about that. And it's a looker. It drives nice. It sounds great. It has decent customization for an OG vehicle. Just an all-around great car. Alright, let's see if all the doors open here. Pretty sure they do. Alright, look at that. And the spoiler is attached to the trunk lid, okay, as it should be. You know, some cars are weird. You never know what's going to happen. I thought I was actually going to take this piece with it, but they actually built it into the body work, so that's good. See the interior there from a 2013 OG vehicle. Pretty much the generic muscle car interior they put in most of them. Generic engine bay there. Not much to see. Pretty bad texture quality, but again, OG car. Has a trunk. That's good. Opens. Texture quality isn't bad though. It's pretty decent, I guess. See the back seats. Back seats? You know, texture quality doesn't look too bad back there. That's not bad. It's pretty decent. Overall, what do you guys think of this car? Back in the day, this was one of my favorite cars. In terms of like free cars off the street, if we're only stating those, this was my favorite back then. I absolutely loved this car, how fast it was, and just a great overall car. Well, anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below in the comments what car you guys want to see me customize next from 2015 and older. And as always, I'll display the most liked vehicle suggestion comment in the next customization video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.